Timeout corner, and you are in the corner. Well, I'm in the corner, but title of this video is what it is because there's stupid people when it comes to talking about E3. Just that simple. I'm gonna jump right into it. People talking about Nintendo, not being in touch with the fan base, not being in touch with the users, with the consumers. And to me, it makes no sense why people say this. Why, you ask? Well, because what they're doing at E3, to me, is telling me that they're not out of touch with the users. It doesn't matter if they're just doing it just to put on an act, but they're doing it and they're going out of their way to do it. So to me, they're not out of touch with the users. Now, people say Nintendo needs to do a press conference, and I'm like, why? Please tell me, from last year's E3, what do you remember from Sony or Microsoft's E3 that warrants you to say that Nintendo should also do a press conference? Please tell me. The only thing I could really remember, besides a few CG trailers, and that's, only thing I really remember besides that is Sony dissing Microsoft. That's like the only thing I could really put a nail on to really remember about last year's E3. Other than that, it was minuscule. It was small. It wasn't that really exciting. It wasn't that exciting. E3 is not like it used to be. E3 now is mainly for media and journalists and such as that. It's just not that exciting. What warrants you to say Nintendo should continue to do a press conference? People say it's because Nintendo needs to get the word out on their system. Nintendo needs to let it be known about what they got. I'm sorry, but if you don't know about the Wii U now, then there's a good chance you don't even know about what goes on at E3. You probably don't even really understand E3. You probably have no clue about E3. If you don't know Nintendo has a new console out by now, you don't know about E3. That means you're not really that into gaming. That means you're not really that informed in gaming. You're not really that deep in gaming, If you don't know about the Wii U by now, then you sure as heck are not really going to be too concerned or know too much about E3, regardless. Or even really follow it, regardless. So put that to rest. If you don't know about Wii U, you probably sure as heck don't know about E3, or at least know about what really goes on at E3. So that's into that discussion right there. Now, people always want these companies to try new things. They want these companies to be innovative, not always do stuff the same way it's always been done in the past. And yet they're getting mad at Nintendo when they're doing exactly that. They're trying new things. Now, this year's E3, Sony and Microsoft got the easiest E3 between the three. Because they're doing the same things they've been doing for the past 10, 15, 20, they've been doing the same thing. Sony and Microsoft are basically just updating their rosters. They're doing the Madden. They're pulling the Madden. They're just updating the rosters and handing you the same stuff at E3. But yet, Nintendo's the one out of touch with the users. When they're the ones going out of their way to try new things, to try to mix it up, to try to get it more exciting, more inviting, to try to make it seem more to it, try to make it seem more alive. But yeah, Nintendo's the one stuck in their old ways, but they're trying new ways. Nintendo's making these short films, I like to call them. Reggie Fils-Aimé acting as a robot, making these Tomodachi Life advertisements, these little short film things. But yet Nintendo's the one out of touch. When they're the ones doing things to get the user more excited, to get them more involved. Once again, people say, well, I didn't talk about it, but the fan reaction is another excuse. Well, they gotta have the fan reaction when they show a game. I'm sorry, but 3 to 5 seconds of a fan reaction of a new game or some CG trailer or some new announcement is not enough for me to warrant to say Nintendo needs to be at E3 as far as press conferences is concerned. Needs to do a press conference at E3. That's not enough for me to say that. Especially when the last few E3s, the last previous years of E3s, they were pretty garbage. I don't really remember anything besides the announcement of new consoles or something like that. Last year especially, like I said, besides Sony dissing Microsoft, what do you remember about E3? Because once again, Sony and Microsoft got the easiest E3. They don't have to do nothing. All they're doing is updating the roster. They're just updating the games. They're just updating their little script of what they got to do when they go on stage. They're just updating their show floor plans. They're just updating, You know what they're going to be acting out on stage. They're just updating their CG trailers. They're not doing anything out of the ordinary. They're just updating their Madden roster. Basically, what they're doing. Nintendo, on the other hand, they got a whole bunch of moving parts. All these things they got to do. Last year they got the kinks out when they had the direct. You know, when they had streaming issues. Now hopefully they got those kinks out. You know, Nintendo got all these moving parts. Yet they're the ones doing the same old thing. They're the ones out of touch. Once again, they're the only ones trying to go out of their way to do something. They're doing... So you might mean to tell me that if you don't even know about E3 or whatever, but you seem to happen to stumble upon it or see something from E3, you're just some regular Joe, that don't know that much about gaming, but if you see something, you telling me you'd rather watch a whole bunch of dudes on stage running around, lying about games, lying about stuff they're going to do in the future, showing a bunch of CG trailers that look good, you know, you might be excited for that, showing a bunch of CG trailers that we know as gamers aren't going to be the actual gameplay footage, you know, showing a whole bunch of dudes forgetting their scripts, forgetting what they're supposed to say online, not even knowing how to play the games they're trying to show you, because they don't even play games, they're just PR people. They're just trying to hype stuff up. All these people running on stage hyping up games. You telling me they're more excited for that than what Nintendo's trying to offer you at E3? Nintendo's doing stuff for the users. They're trying to have a lot of their games playable on the show floor, if not all of them, most of them. They're going to have a lot of the representatives on the show floor. Possibly, most likely, higher management, like last year. They had a lot of them on the show floor to talk to consumers, to talk to users. They're having a treehouse event. They're doing this for the users. They're having a freaking competition at the Nokia Theater. A big old theater competition. And yet they're out of touch with the users. How does that even fit in the same sentence or discussion? You can't be out of touch when you're doing all these things. And finally, if you can't make it to E3, Nintendo is making it to where you could sort of make it to E3. You can't make it to E3, but you can still make it to E3 with Nintendo. Because you can go to the Best Buy at selected Best Buys. I think this year there's even more, maybe, I'm not sure. Haven't really checked that up, you know. Not gonna matter to me. But Nintendo's making it to where if you can't make it to Best Buy, you can still make it to Best Buy. And yet, I mean, if Nintendo's making it to where if you can't make it to E3, you can still make it to E3 by going to selected Best Buys and playing selected games. This year's even better because they're going to have better games to play. And yet they're out of touch with the users. They're giving you the chance to play games that's going to be at E3 at some Best Buys. Even better than last year. And yet they're out of touch with the users? How is that even possible? How is that even possible to be out of touch? While Sony and Microsoft fans, which there's a lot of Nintendo fans who got those systems as well, all they could do is watch what other people do. People who own Nintendo systems and might think about getting one can actually go to Best Buy if they have one that's participating near them and go play these games, see these games in person if they can't make it to E3. Yeah, Nintendo's out of touch with the community, with the users, with the fan base. How's that possible? Now, you want your fan reaction? Go to the competition. That's your fan reaction. A fan reaction of showing a CG trailer or announcing something new, it's not going to be the same as fan reactions from a competition. It's a competition. If I don't know about Wii U and I see a competition about one of the biggest franchises Nintendo got, Smash Brothers, what if I'm there at the Nokia Theater? That's where the fans going to react with Nintendo, at the Nokia Theater. If I'm there and I see somebody selected somebody I usually, or if I see somebody selected and say Link, and I like Link and I always play with Link, I'm going to connect with that player like, ooh, I want him to win it all. That's my dude. He playing with Link. I want him to win. So you can have fans in the audience feeling the connection, not no deep connection, but, a little soft connection, with players playing in the competition. Like, ooh, I want him to win. That's my dude he's picking. That's my character he's picking. Ooh, he picking Samus. I want him to win. Oh, you're going to have this big, it's going to be a big environment. People just being happy, interacting with each other. Gamers competing. Gamers talking trash. Gamers going crazy. My goodness. Wow, what the heck? You guys are more excited for people running around on stage in a press conference? And you telling me you're more excited for that crap than this? What is wrong with you guys? That's why I say you're stupid. You're stupid. stupid. Smack yourself. Smack you stupid. How you gonna be out of touch and complain about fan reactions when they doing directs, show floor interaction, rep interaction, high management interaction, Best Buy interaction, competitions, yet they're out of touch with the fan base? How is that even remotely possible? Once again, you're going to have more of a fan reaction from competitions. A CG trailer of a new game, or a CG trailer of a game they already shown but have updates on, or maybe even some gameplay footage finally, you're going to get about 3-5 second fan reaction. But a competition, that's constant fan reaction. A competition is constant fan reaction. Smash Brothers is constant action. That means constant fan reaction. You want fan reaction? Watch the freaking competition. Matter of fact, from last year's E3, when Nintendo showed Mega Man, I went to some YouTube videos to watch the reaction of people when they saw Mega Man being announced. That was some fan reaction right there. I saw more fan reaction from a few YouTube videos from people watching Mega Man recording themselves from the announcement than I did from Sony Microsoft press conference. I got to actually see people react because close up and personal. Now look at these competitions. You telling me there's not going to be any fan reactions? Y'all were worried about a stupid press conference. Look, the press conferences Nintendo had last year, they had one for the media. They had one for the journalists. They had one for, the stockholders and whatnot. All of that was in one press conference or whatever. I can't remember how they did it. But if you're worried about the media covering Nintendo's E3 at E3, don't worry about it. It's going to be covered. They got them covered. Nintendo got it all covered. So you talking about Nintendo needs this, needs that? Shut the hell up and sit down. Just stop being stupid and shut the hell up. Nintendo got it covered, y'all. Nintendo is not playing Madden here. They're not just updating the roster. They're creating a whole new way of doing something. And yet y'all want to complain. Just shut the hell up and sit the hell down and take your ass in timeout. I'm done with this video. It's Timeout Corner. And hey, check out the new website, timeoutcorner.net. I will be having a few crazy advertisements about the channel, about the website. It's crazy. Hope y'all like it. That's it for now.